Hi, I'm Courtney Terry, and this is Arts Alive, sponsored by Meadow Lake Studios. And I'm here today with Jared Richard and Caroline McCloskey, and we are going to talk about the upcoming Regional One Act Festival at Gallery.
Yes, that's what we want to talk about.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm ready for lightning fast conversation. This is so nice. You guys are so polite.
I know.
I'm waiting for something bad to happen. This is just
we have a lot to talk about.
Murphy's Law.
All right. Well, when does it start?
This next weekend, March 17th and 18th, Friday and Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll keep talking if you.
We haven't practiced.
Give me like a pinch if you're like
talking. So
yeah.
So are you going to talk?
I was born in 1865.
Great year. Great year. So the One Act Festival is obviously, how many one acts happen in the course of the festival?
Well, I can give you a little background. Maybe that'll help.
Yes.
And if as we fire right into when it is.
Perfect.
But we belong to the American Association of Community Theaters, and every other year they have a big competition of one-act plays. And so the states have their own competitions, and then they select somebody to move on to represent their state in the regionals. And our region is Washington and Idaho and Oregon. Oregon did not have a state fest, but we did have one theater that was entered. They were adjudicated. And we use the word adjudication a lot. I have learned to spell it, ADG. It's a hard one to spell. Anyway, and so they're adjudicated and they moved on. So Oregon has a representative too. And so Washington has 2 plays that they are entering, and Idaho has 2 plays they're entering. And so we have a total of 5 plays that will be going on during the weekend, Friday and Saturday. Jared's got a big job and he's been doing a great job. We've got a lot of details, a lot of paperwork involved in getting it all organized, because we call it ACT, that's the acronym, has very specific rules, and they have a handbook that you have to follow exactly.
Okay.
And what I have found, because I used to do this for the state all the time, we've done it before at gallery theaters, there have been a few changes now, and one of them is digital, which is a new thing to me, because I had always had people have things in their hand, and now it's like they've sent it in digitally. Anyway, so there's a lot to be done, and Jared's been wonderful about it. And they have strict rules about they have to have a rehearsal time. So we have to schedule in 2 hours of rehearsal time for each of the theaters, which means the schedule is really tricky. And so we've got it down. They have to have a time when they load in all their set pieces. Thankfully, this time we don't have sets that have tons and tons and tons of stuff. But it's kind of hard to stop when you start on this, to keep people thinking, what is she talking about? But the strict rule is what they call a 10-60-10. That means that at the back of our stage, we have boxes drawn on the floor, 10 by 10 foot boxes, and everything that they're going to have has to go in that box. Everything is. And so then when they perform and the audience can see this, they say, yes, we're ready. And they say, go. And they have 10 minutes to put everything from that box out on the stage.
Ooh.
You would be amazed at what I've seen in all the one acts I've seen of how much they can put down on a stage and put up in 10 minutes. It's unbelievable.
It's crazy for sure. Yeah.
So the place we have this time, post-pandemic, and they don't have that, but I've seen it in the past. It's amazing. So then they go back and they say stop, and then they start the play. They get ready for the play. They have 60 minutes.
Okay.
One year we entered a play and we went over by 3 seconds, and we got eliminated. So it's very strict.
Wow. People were dragged out to the street.
They were. They really were.
It was so brutal.
Blacklisted for life.
Y'all are dramatic.
About it, so I'm probably gonna. This is my last interview.
We
don't
talk about that much.
No, it is very strict. It's very serious. It is a competition, so that's why. And but yeah, we have 5 different one acts from 5 different theater companies, all in one theater, and it's going to be crazy because it's. I mean, every theater that I've been to has their own brand of like theater person. So this is 5 different brands in one. This is a sampler platter of theatricality. Yeah, it's
in one space.
I'm trying to remember whether their company for him is spelled THERRRE, EAT, or ER, or the company Playhouse, or they come to, and better get it right. So
they're very serious about that.
They're very serious about all of that. So, but anyway, at the end, they have the same 10 minutes to take their stuff off.
Oh.
And I'm telling you that you have to clean up any drops of water you might have. Like one of them has a kiddie pool. I don't know if they have water and they're going to have in there, but if any water gets on the floor, they have to clean that up too. Any paper, anything that's on the floor has to go back and be cleaned up in the end of that 10 minutes.
That's
and
bananas.
So if it's over that, they get disqualified. After that, then we have 3 adjudicators. One's coming from Washington, another from Canada, and another gal is from Baton Rouge, and she works in Salem sometimes. So the 3 of them are going to be writing notes very quickly and everything like that, and then they go off and come back on. The company goes down in front, and then they listen to the adjudicators for about 20 minutes. I took the adjudicator training. It's very interesting because you look at a play now, and I never can see a play the same way because I'm always going, well, that probably could have been a little better there. They could have done that. Oh, I thought that was great. And so that's what they do, and they help them out. At the end of the 5 plays, which will finish Saturday night at 6 o'clock, they will go together and decide which play they want to move on to the finals, which take place in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, what that means is a company has to send all of that set to Louisville, Kentucky some way.
Right.
Yeah, and pay for everybody to get to Louisville, Kentucky. And so this is quite an undertaking.
So the 3 theater companies that participate, are they like gallery, where they're community? They all have to be community. Yeah.
Oh, in fact, all the actors have to sign an eligibility thing that says they are not a SAG member, that they are amateurs, and they're not. Yeah, that's very specific. No, I know, it's real community. So what they can do is they choose a play, and there are a lot of one-act plays that are very good plays, but they can cut a full play. I don't know if you know the musical Assassins or not.
Oh.
Well, it's a gigantic one. I think
it's a hilarious comedy about.
Well, it is. It's
Stephen Sondheim. I mean, it's a dark comedy, but yes,
dark comedy about the Assassins.
Those are my favorite kinds.
Yeah.
So they made a cut of that one and down to 60 minutes, and that was one of those where the set was like, there's no way they're putting all that on the stage, but they did, and they went back to Louisville and won. Well, they were from Tacoma. And then another time, somebody just took the first act of an Addams Family. So it can be a musical, or it can be a...
so all kinds of stuff. And it's something, too, where, I mean, in this age of so much content out there and, really long movies or like 10-hour binges, this is kind of more like lean and mean and making sure that like it just gets down to the nitty-gritty. And so that's the nice thing, too, is that we've all been to plays that I think were a little long. And so this doesn't have that problem, which is nice. And if it does, then it's a really terrible play. So, I mean,
well, and it's amazing what can be done in that 60 minutes. So I've gone back to the Nationals before, and you watch like 12 plays. It's a lot. And the one that won the last time I was in Gettysburg was one woman for 60 minutes on that stage. It was the most powerful one act I've ever seen. And it was 60 minutes, powerful story. So you can tell a good story in 60 minutes.
Well, yeah, they have to condense it. They have to make it good.
No, but when you cut, it's really important that it's hard to cut and still maintain the story. But the fun part about it is, and I think in trying to educate the public is what we're talking about. We say, oh, there's one X. But part of it is this adjudication, because you can watch then. You've watched the play, and now you can sit and watch what these adjudicators have to say. And sometimes we've said, I agree. No, what do you mean? I thought that was great. What are you talking about?
It's a bit like a reality competition.
Exactly. It's like a theater version of American Idol.
There you go. Yeah. But anyways, it's so educational.
Better.
Yes, much better.
Much better.
Katy Perry will not be here, unfortunately.
No. Yes. Well, you never know. So anyway, I started being adjudicator when I was acting in plays, in these one acts, and also full plays when I was living overseas. That's another story you don't want to hear about, but
we do.
No,
we
not
can't hear
now.
about that.
That's at our talk
Yes.
show. We have our
Yes.
talk show that we're going to have. But anyway, the point is that when I started directing plays, I learned more about directing from watching adjudications and being an adjudicator seminar for 3 months over Zoom because it was pandemic time. I learned so much, and so then when I go to direct or, I learn from adjudication. So for people who are theater people, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
And I encourage younger people, really, because they learn a lot about themselves and what they could be doing better on stage. Oh, there's so much that they see. These people who are adjudicators are so knowledgeable that I don't know how many young people would be coming, but I really encourage them to come, at least see 1 or 2 plays, if not all 5, and see what it's all about, because they will learn about their craft from this. And so that's part of it that most audience doesn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we can get theater people in. They're coming to watch from the other theaters. They bring their people. What we'd really like to do is fill the seats with people around our community and even Yamhill County.
So how can people in the community learn? It's happening this weekend.
Yes.
It's
upcoming weekend, the 17th and 18th, So whenever this airs, basically.
Well,
yes.
We have it. We're trying to put it out every place we can.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, it is being written about on everything we can possibly think of. It's advertised on the marquee of the Mac Theater.
Cool.
And they can find out information.
So everything will be gallerytheater.org.
Yes, it's on our front page there. And if you click on the Region Fest, it'll have all the information of when the shows are, what the shows are, and how to come and that kind of stuff. And I mean, it's interesting just because, like I said, there's stuff that we can advertise, but the shows themselves are the ones that are really advertise themselves. And so you really have to go to see the show to really kind of understand why it was chosen, because otherwise all we can really say is like, hey, who wants to see some theater people get judged? It's not like, it's hard to kind of do that. So it's more kind of like a kind of a grab bag or a surprise, and so a lot of people can see a lot of theater in a short amount of time for really fairly
reasonable price.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we have a package of being able to see all 5 shows.
Okay.
That's cheaper. And then we have a social on Saturday night after the finish. Can we say where it is?
Yes, we can. It's on our website. Yeah.
Okay. And it's at Troon. We'll go around the corner, and there's food and there's drink together with a price that they pay for that. But it's fun because it's all finished and everybody's through the nervousness and everything. And now we're talking about everything we share about what we saw, what we thought, and all that kind of stuff. And the adjudicators will be also giving special awards like Best Actor, costumes, scenery, whatever. They have
thickest eyebrows.
That too.
Weirdest smile.
Good.
Yes.
That's the kind of stuff that really you put that on your resume.
The thing that we really
hated
most.
Do many? Is it? Are there a lot of kids that participate, or is it mostly adult?
Oh my gosh! I have to tell you that amazingly enough, not our theater, but I have seen other theaters bring a cast of thousands with all these kids, and how they transported them and paid for them to get there, I have no idea. But, at the Nationals, they do have a youth fest. And this has started to be quite a big thing. And I watched those performances, and it's great fun to be there and see what these kids can do.
Yeah.
So we haven't been able to take part in that.
I mean, not yet, but step by step.
Step by step.
Our big challenge now is in 2 years whether we can put together a state festival and have a number of plays compete. We had one we thought would be really good this year, but we couldn't do it. So
not quite enough time, but yes,
not enough time. Trying to do too many things at one time. But then there'll be a reception afterwards on Friday night up in our loft, which we do a good job of. And then, of course, wine sales and things at intermission and food, and it's a
folks
fun
can
event.
come for a whole theater experience. They get to experience a little behind the scenes, the competition aspects of it, and just have a great time.
Yeah.
So
I think it is. It's really a valuable time.
thank you. Well, Jared, Caroline, thank you so much for coming and talking about me about the Regional One Act Festival happening the 17th and 18th at Gallery. And my name is Courtney Terry, and this has been Arts Alive. Thank you.